and can continue to join us. So welcome to this Workforce Wednesday webinar. My name is Kirsten Bayer with the Illinois Center for Specialized Professional Support at Illinois State University. Today's topic is going to be digital citizenship and online safety, navigating the digital world responsibly. If you were on with us this morning for our 10 o'clock Workforce Wednesday webinar, you heard about AI quick wins. So we are just all things digital today and technology. We can't avoid it. We have to learn how to use it and adapt to this new ever-changing technological world that we're living in now. So Shannon, you can go to the next slide. Here is my information. And if anyone needs to reach out to me about logistics following today's webinar, you can feel free to do so. We are on the Zoom webinar platform as opposed to Zoom meeting. And so it's a little bit different for the audience members. You do not have the ability to unmute yourself or turn on your camera. However, we do invite you to fully participate in the chat. You should be able to do that now. I always have to remind myself to change my chat settings. So you should be able to say hello, good afternoon in the chat. We'll be posting some resources in there as well as Shannon's slides today. And then you can also participate via the Q&A if you have a question, as well as we do invite you to participate with dialogue, asking Shannon live questions when we pause towards the end of the webinar with Q&A. You can feel free to just raise your Zoom hand and we can unmute you. We are recording today's webinar. The recording will be posted on Illinois WorkNet as well as our website, the Illinois Workforce Academy, and I'll put that URL in the chat here momentarily. However, you'll also receive a follow-up email tomorrow where that URL will be linked. You can find the recording from today as well as slides and resources on that website from this afternoon's webinar, as well as all of our Workforce Wednesday webinars. So feel free to browse all of the great trainings that we've had, including this morning's AI quick wins as well, if you're interested in that and you had to miss this morning's. You can go to the next slide, Shannon. We do have closed captioning on today for accessibility reasons or note-taking purposes if you need that as well. And I believe that's all I have to cover. I'm going to go ahead and launch our beginning polls that we just do every Workforce webinar, Wednesday webinar. So if you're familiar with that, if you're familiar with us and you've joined us before, then you've definitely taken us before. So I apologize for the redundancy, but I sit on the WEO Professional Development Committee along with my director, Amy Julian, and also the director of the Southern Illinois Professional Development Center, Sarah Goldhammer, who's also on with us today to help support. So if you need anything, feel free to chat her as well. She's who brought our great presenter today, Shannon Distill, to us. So we're very grateful to her for that. And we do look at this analytics for the local area and then which partner you all represent, just to make sure we're meeting the state, all of the state's professional development needs. So I'll go ahead and end that poll. Looks like we have a good span across the state, which is always nice to see, with most of you from Northern Illinois and Chicago. So great to see that. Thank you for sharing. And then one last poll is just, which partner do you best represent? We'll give everyone about 30 seconds to answer that. And while you're answering that, the follow-up email that I mentioned earlier that you'll receive will not only have the URL link to where you can find the recording and the resources and Shannon's slides from today, but it will also have a follow-up survey. It's only 5 questions, and we do encourage you to participate and take that. The Professional Development Committee does look at that, the analytics for that, and we use it to help us provide and plan for future professional development. So there's a question there where you can let us know if there's a topic that you would like to see, because we would love to explore getting a session, a Workforce Wednesday webinar built for you on that topic. If you would like to give a specific topic you would like to see the state provide PD on. All right, we'll go ahead and in that poll. Looks like we had mostly Title I and Title II, and some other real partners and stakeholders as well joining us this afternoon. So that's great to see. All right. And then Sarah just posted in the chat for everyone, if you need a professional development certificate or ICCD sponsored programs, you can go ahead and email Linda Zimmerman. Her email is in the chat. You can go ahead and check that out. I'm gonna hand it over to Shannon to get her slides started and get her presentation started.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Audio
Yes,
is all right?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, excellent. All right, this is just a reminder of the webinar topic today. I am thrilled to be here presenting to you. Thank you so much for having me. For those of you I have not met at a conference or met in another webinar, my name is Shannon Distel, and I am the computer skills instructor at Trellis in Chicago. At Trellis, I teach the beginning, intermediate, and advanced level computer classes. Almost all of my students are immigrants or refugees, and all of the classes that we provide at Trellis are at no cost to the students. So today we're going to talk about digital citizenship, digital literacy, and how to stay safe on the internet. Now we're going to get through a lot of slides in the next hour or so, and I'm happy to take questions and answers. And like mentioned, there is a resource list in a Google Doc, which will have even more videos and information that I'm going to be able to show you today. So let's get started. So, what is digital literacy? This is probably a question that I get asked the most. And to understand digital literacy, you have to really understand what we're doing in our day-to-day lives. So, as you can see in the definition here, digital refers to the technology that we are using, from the computers and the internet to the objects and programs. So, your cell phone, if you have a smart home system, the check-in kiosk at the airport, and more. Now, literacy obviously refers to the use of that technology. So, understanding digital literacy will help us understand digital citizenship. Now, we're going to have our first poll. I would like to know if you know who are digital citizens, and we're going to give you a few seconds to answer this question. Are they influencers? Are there our children? Are there our digital citizens, the celebrities? Are they businesses? Who do you think that digital citizens are? Politicians? Business leaders, perhaps? This always gets some very interesting answers. I get a lot of influencers, musicians, actors. Celebrity animals.
Shannon, you just let me know when you want to go ahead and close it off.
Go ahead and close it off. Let's see what your
Okay.
answers are.
Okay. I think to share a short answer question, I have to kind of share my screen. So I'm gonna
Or you could just
steal.
give us some of the answers that we
Oh,
got. That
yeah.
would be good too.
Yeah, for sure. I can do that. So some of the answers were um whoever, devices, social, um, digital citizens are people who use any sort of technology to contact others or find information through their devices.
That was a terrific answer.
Our children who have had digital access to the world from birth.
Excellent.
Students of citizenship classes. Everyone who has a cell phone or access to a computer.
Oh, love
Uh, ev-
these.
whoever is taking the interview and tested virtually. Anyone that uses the internet or social media and technology users are the answers.
Fantastic answers. And all of them are correct. So basically, everyone is a digital citizen. And according to the definition from the author of Digital Citizenship, the Internet, Society, and Participation, digital citizens are those who use the internet regularly and effectively. And digital citizenship is about navigating the online world safely, ethically, and responsibly. So let's talk a little bit more about the principles of digital citizenship. Because now that you know who the digital citizens are, let's talk about what these principles are. And I'm going to share three of them. today. The first one is the ability to use technology responsibly. Now, this means everything from learning what data websites and apps collect. It means if you are using social media, knowing who your audience is and if your content can be shared. It means using social media to help solve problems. It means citing your sources when posting or sharing information from the internet. Being a responsible technology user means don't use copyrighted images, don't share digitally altered images, using AI cautiously, evaluating the accuracy and validity of online posts, using technology for civic engagement. It means reporting inappropriate content. It means don't share unsubstantiated posts or fake news. It means being a mindful consumer. And it means recognizing that commerce ads are constant. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Now, one of the things I want to remind you about how to be a responsible digital citizen is just because websites and apps exist, it doesn't mean you need to use them. So try and set limits. That's also using technology responsibly. Now let's go to principle 2. Principle 2, the ability to use technology safely. Now, this means educating yourself and your family about how to be safe on the internet. So I'm very glad you're here to learn some tips from me. It means encouraging and modeling creating safe spaces for others. It means learning how to protect your online profiles. It means not posting where you are when you're there on social media. It means regularly reviewing your cell phone privacy settings. It means using browsers and search engines like DuckDuckGo or Google in incognito mode. And we'll talk about that a little bit later too. And it means not sharing your personal information with strangers. All right, let's go to principle 3. The ability to use technology respectfully. Now, this means being mindful of how age, income level, gender, education, geographic location, and other societal aspects influence a user's access and use of the internet. It means being respectful of multiple viewpoints, emphasizing kindness and empathy, reporting and acting on cyberbullying, advocating for equitable digital access, and not sharing anyone's digital property without their permission. So now that we know the principles of digital citizenship, let's talk about how we are using the internet. Now, this is kind of an alarming statistic, but it might not be surprising that 96% of adults in the United States are using the internet. And this is according to a 2024 Pew Research survey. Now, this does not mean that adults have equal access to the internet or that they have internet at home. Most of my adult students that I teach do not have internet access at home. So adults may be using the internet at the public library. They might be using it at work, school, coffee shops, organizations, or community centers. But knowing that 96% of adults in the United States are using the internet, it's really fascinating and helpful to learn what exactly they are using when they are connected to the internet with their devices. So we're going to ask our second poll. I'd like to know what you think is the most visited website in the world. And I believe this one's going to be a short answer too. And if you can't see the
Yes,
poll,
I'm sorry. Hold on
no
one
worries.
second.
We can always use chat if that works better, whatever
No,
works.
there we go. I
Okay.
got it.
So the most visited website in the world, I'd like to know what you think it is. I'm guessing quite a few of you have used it multiple times today already, but let's see if you get it correct. And
Sorry,
let's give
everyone.
it,
I had to stop sharing the last poll to share this one. So
and I know this is probably going to be a short answer, so you can read out some of the answers, but let's close it in about 5 more seconds. Okay, perfect. Okay. What did they say?
okay, they said Amazon, Google, weather, Google, dictionary, Google.
So the answer is Google, the most visited website in the world. 8.5 billion searches a day, 99,000 searches each second. 92% of search engine users are using Google. Now, according to Forbes, there are 5.35 billion internet users worldwide. And so many of us are using Google multiple times a day. Now, knowing that that many people are using the internet, that many people are using websites like Google, let's talk about the platforms that they're using. So we're going to ask yet another poll. I would like to know what digital platforms all of you are using on a daily basis. So please click all that apply. I'll give you about 15 seconds. Now, these you might be using as an app on your phone. Some of these you might be using through your internet browser, but I'm curious to see what platforms you all are using. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. 50% YouTube, 64% Facebook, 36% Instagram. No users of TikTok. That's very interesting. 36% on WhatsApp. Nobody's here on Snapchat, and 21% other. Okay, excellent. So let's talk about some of those. Here are some statistics about the platforms that US adults are using. And you're probably not too surprised because many of you were using one, if not multiple platforms on a daily basis. Now, these platforms are owned by the big five or the big tech or the tech titans. Now, I'm going to show you what each of these tech titans are, and you might recognize them. The first one is Alphabet. Alphabet owns Google. Google owns YouTube. I had heard Amazon. Amazon is one of the big five. Apple, Meta, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, and Microsoft. Now, Google being the most visited website in the world is part of Apple, who, like I said, owns YouTube as well. Alphabet owns YouTube and Google, and YouTube is the second most visited website in the world. Now, Google also owns other familiar technology, including Waze, Fitbit, and Nest. And like I mentioned, Meta owns Facebook, which is the third most visited website in the world. It also owns Instagram, the fourth most popular, and WhatsApp, owned by Facebook, or by Meta, is number 5. So some of the biggest companies that we use every day are the ones that are supplying this technology, these websites, and these apps to us. Now, there are so many of them. How do we stay safe on these apps? Let's talk about the essential digital skills for using technology safely. Now, I'm assuming that most of you are either watching this webinar on either the Zoom app on your phone or a laptop or a desktop. So all of us are using different technology at different times of the day for different reasons. But what are the skills we need to stay safe? I'm going to talk about all 3 of these skills. The first one, how to evaluate digital information. The second one, understanding digital commerce. And the third, communication when using the internet. Let's start with the first essential skill, which is evaluating digital information. Now, there are a number of things to consider when you are evaluating the digital information that you are seeing, that you are being bombarded with on a daily basis, whether it's on social media or it's commerce ads. Some of the things you need to keep in mind. Number 1, the creator. Who is writing the content of the website or the post? Number 2, what is the purpose of the content? Is the content to explain? Is it to persuade? Is it to inform? Or is it to sell? Number 3, when evaluating digital information, What is the objectivity of the content? Is it fact? Is it opinion? Is it propaganda? Number 4, the accuracy of the digital information. Can the information be verified? Has the information been reviewed? Are words spelled correctly? Is the grammar correct? And number 5, their sources. Are there links to data? Are there links to resources? Are the links updated and working? Now, this is the first digital skill that I feel is essential. Evaluating digital information with creator, purpose, objectivity, accuracy, and sources. Now we are going to look at a number of examples, and I would like you to evaluate these examples as I'm showing them to you. All right, let's get started. Identity theft, gift card scams, fake websites and fraudulent listings, and debt collection scams. Now we are going to take a look at examples of all of these scams. Okay, now these are very, very popular scams. So evaluating digital information is key just to stay safe on a daily basis with what we're doing. Now, many of you might have received a text message like this earlier this year. This is a perfect example of what we can evaluating this digital information. Now, first thing we're going to look at the phone number that sent this text to me, the creator. Well, the phone number is a +44, which is actually the country code for the United Kingdom. It says that the creator is the toll roads notice of toll evasion, and that I have an unpaid toll bill on my account. Now, here's something to evaluate when you are looking at content, whether you're receiving it in a text message or an email, or it's on social media or a website. One of the main things that happens with scammers and unsafe websites is that there is a call to action immediately, fear, or something that has to be done right away, such as to avoid late fees, pay within 12 hours or the late fees will be increased and reported to the DMV. Now, below that is a strange URL link. Now, this was sent to me in a text message, and thousands of other people received this around the country as well. Now, one of the first things that you can do when you're evaluating this is take a look at who sent it, what it's saying. Is it well written? Is it well spelt? And where is that URL going to take me if I click on it? Now, something else to think about when you're evaluating this type of digital content is look at the directions that they give me. Please reply why, then exit the text message and open it again to activate the link, or copy the link to your Safari browser and open it from the Toll Roads team. So in evaluating this, there are many, many red flags. Who sent it to me, who they say that they are, who they are impersonating, a strange looking URL that does not look like it belongs to the Toll Roads Notice of Toll Evasion, which is a company I've never heard from, and then very, very complicated instructions on how to pay these late fees that I've supposedly acquired. Now, in this text message is that URL, https secure.getipassce.xin. Now, one of the things that you can do when you are evaluating digital information is to check the URL without actually going to the website. Now, one of the ways that you can do that is if you open up an internet browser, you can type in using a secure browser such as DuckDuckGo, which I'm going to talk a little bit later, and type in the URL. Now, my internet browser, as soon as I typed in the URL, it didn't even take me to this fraudulent website. What it told me is this message here, that phishing is a fraudulent attempt to get you to provide information under false pretenses. So my internet browser has already blocked this unusual URL that was in the text message I received. So my internet browser was actually protecting me from going to the fraudulent website I received in the text message. I couldn't actually get to the website to supposedly pay my late fees. All right, let's look at another one. Here's another text message. You may have received something very similar. And again, as we're evaluating it, take a look at the person who supposedly sent this to me. TXDIGIPEUE, et cetera, at firm.xyz. UPS ground schedule rescheduled my shipment delivery. Now, there's a whole lot going on in this text message. It was a very, very long text message, but when you're evaluating it, I'm not recognizing who sent this to me. It doesn't look like it's coming from an actual UPS website. It's again very complicated. Just reply with why and then close it and reopen the message. And again, they're making me do things very, very quickly. It's a fear factor. If you don't do this now, something's going to happen. So again, evaluate the link, evaluate the sender, evaluate the content of the message. Don't just click. And you might notice here that it says report junk. Now, hopefully, most of you know how to report junk when you receive a text message or report spam on an email that you receive. Reporting junk here will hopefully alert your cell phone provider to not allow this sender to contact you again in a text message. The problem with that is, even though we report the junk, a new email message or a new text message is going to contact you through another means. But we can continue to try and block them and report them as junk. Now, this was another one that I received. This was a text message, and evaluating it. That is not my name. My name is not accurate in this text message I received. And I've never heard of anybody named Alita Updike at the student loan department, which was very unspecific. There is just a random telephone number in here. And then at the end of the text message, there was information about opting into an advertising service and just a whole bunch of random text in this message. So I knew immediately when I got this that this was not coming from a student loan department. I am way too many years out of college to have this be a real message. So just as you're evaluating, keep those things in mind. Why are you receiving it? Who would be sending this to you? And the accuracy of anything that you might be reading. Now, this one I've been getting quite frequently recently. This is another text message from an unknown phone number, your Coinbase withdrawal code, and then a phone number. Now, I am going to play you a video in a little while of some common robocalls and scam calls that you might also receive on your phone. These examples that I'm showing you are text messages that you can evaluate using that method of creator, purpose, objectivity, accuracy, and links to resources and data, but we're also going to talk about phone calls and websites. Now, this is an email that I received randomly, and it had an attached PDF. Now, that PDF, I of course am not going to download it. If you receive an email with a unsafe looking attachment, maybe something that doesn't have a name attached to it or random numbers and letters like this, there was really nothing in this email other than daily report available and a particular date. What I did not do was I did not click on that PDF. I did not download anything to my computer. I did not download anything to my cell phone. And evaluating Susan Gordon, who apparently sent this to me, with the email address Dino Rubio DCI 682, and I don't know what the Griffith Turnpike is. Now, I got these repeatedly to my emails, and if you are using Gmail like I am, or if you are using Outlook, you can mark messages like this as spam, and hopefully Gmail will prevent the senders from sending you any further emails. Now, this one I actually received when I was doing a class presentation on fraud. And so I was able to pull it up on my phone and show it to my students. And this really sounds like the best gig ever. Sierra from Klarna, which is a real website, sent me a text message from the email address, hiripudi@hotmail.com. However, she says her name is Sierra from the company Klarna and is reaching out to me because I was recommended to her by an online recruitment agency, and she'd like to hire me for a flexible or full-time job working only 60 to 90 minutes a day, 4 days a week to earn $250 to $500 a day. So, plus paid annual leave and benefits. So, sounds like it could be the best job ever. And what she wants me to do is to text back at the phone number in this text message. Well, I'm not going to do that. I hope that if you receive messages like this, you also report them as spam or you block the number on your cell phone and evaluate it in this manner. So, actually, one of my students did receive this message and did very similar, did text the phone number, and somebody actually did text her back and gave her information about a job that did not exist. So, what they're hoping that you do, the spammers who are sending this kind of junk to you, is they're hoping that you will reply and then engage in conversation with them, whether it's through a text message, a back and forth with email, or you call the phone number that they provide for you. They're going to then try and talk you into an action, such as giving them personal information to apply for a job or sharing bank account information because you've won the lottery. And we have one of those coming up in a minute as well. So let's look at another one. This one is a final notice regarding the unpaid toll balance on my account. You must settle the balance within the next 12 hours. And there's that call to action. Settle it within 12 hours. Act now. Avoid severe penalties over an unpaid balance of $6.99 and a long list of what I have to do. I am going to have more payment fees added to my balance of $6.99. There's going to be the suspension of my vehicle registration by the Department of Motor Vehicles. There's going to be collection action taken against me. So all of this, it's again that call to action. It's a fear-based. It's I have to do this now, or there's going to be consequences. And the directions, once again, are very complicated. Please reply with Y, then exit the text message, open it again, click the link, copy it into my Safari browser, and open it. And that's the link. e-z-passnewyork.com with quite a long URL. So again, as you're evaluating, make sure you're taking a look at the entire message and you will soon be able to spot, if you don't already, all of the red flags when you're receiving messages like this. Now, unfortunately, these toll and Apple and computer security, these messages are so common and so widespread and so difficult to stop that there are messages like this that be aware toll texts are scams popping up all over the United States, alerting technology users that these scams exist. Now, this is just a screenshot that I took from an article about how popular these toll scams are in every area of the United States. And actually, when I was recently driving through Michigan, sure enough, up on the billboards on 94, these messages were just popping up. Toll texts are scams. Toll texts are scams. So it's really nice that this is getting into mainstream media and that this is being addressed quite widely so that people know that those messages that they are receiving are not legitimate. Now, here's one from Apple, and again, just like we've evaluated the other one examples that I showed you, there's always some kind of call to action. And it doesn't matter if it's Apple or if it's the Department of Motor Vehicles or it's some other agency. These are all going to be scams. Evaluate them again. Creator, purpose, objectivity, accuracy, and are there resources to click on that will help you confirm if these are safe or unsafe to check out, to click on. Now, for those of you, it's many of you responded to the poll that you were using Facebook. I am also on Facebook. Most of the adults in the world are on Facebook. And when you are using social media, you are going to get messages that look real that are not real. And this is one of them. Now, I got this supposed message from Facebook. And my first red flag when I was evaluating this digital information was the creator. And I want you to take a look at the sender of this email message to me. Notify at facebook.authentication.com. Not authentication, authentication.com. So right away, noticing a misspelling in the sender's email address. And then the message itself is rather unusual. It just says your friend. It says your friend. It just wants me to click on either see photos or go to notifications. It says your friend added 2 photos of you. And then what would happen if I clicked on one of those buttons, either see photos or go to notifications, it's going to take me to a fake Facebook page, and it will then ask me to sign in with my real Facebook information. It will look very similar to Facebook. And what it's going to do is it's going to try and collect my Facebook login and my password and then access my Facebook account. Now, I know that this was not fake just because I wouldn't get a Facebook notification. I have all of those turned off. It is an inaccurate sender email address that sent it to me, and there's no information about the supposed friend who added the photos of me. Now, here's one from WhatsApp. I also use WhatsApp, as many of you did when you completed that poll. And again, very unusual. The email address of the sender is what's-app@do-not-application-alert.com. And then there's no information about who sent me this message. So I don't see a phone number. I don't see any contact information for a contact on WhatsApp, just that I have a new message and they want me to click on that green play button, which will then take me to a fraudulent website that looks like WhatsApp, and they will want me to log into my WhatsApp account. So we're not going to do that. Now, this was actually an example that a student brought to me. The student had received a message, a text message, multiple times, and the text message said that the USPS could not deliver a package, and there was a link to click on in order to reschedule his package delivery. So my student showed me his phone, and this was the URL that was in the text message: usps.hhragzupes.top. So I did go into a secure browser and I entered in the URL that was in the text message the student received. And once again, the internet browser blocked me from accessing this website. And it's actually giving me the notice that this is a dangerous site. So this text message is probably so widespread and so many people tried to access this fraudulent UPS website in order to reschedule their delivery that the internet browser has blocked the website. So great security precaution there on behalf of the internet browser, and we were not able to access whatever was behind this pop-up. So I am going to have you guys listen to a few video calls. But first, let's talk about what we might be listening to. So a robocall. A robocall is a telephone call that sounds like a computer-generated voice, and you've probably received one of these. If you have a cell phone, I'm sure you receive these frequently. And I will play an example of it, but that robot voice is, "Hello, my name is Shannon from the IRS." I don't do a very good imitation of it, but it's a computer-generated voice. And what they want you to do is they want you to stay on the line until a real person picks up the phone call. Now, if you ever pick up the phone and you don't recognize the number and you hear that automated computer-generated voice, you hang up and you block that number. I will show you an example in a future slide here. Now, a scam. That is what we've been looking at, and that's what we're going to continue. I'm going to continue to show you examples of deceptions, lies, or tricks. They're usually trying to take money or goods from someone. Now, spam. Spam is usually unwanted and unsolicited. So spam is usually also harmless. So spam might be the newsletters that you're getting from a local agency. They might be information from a local politician. It might be coupons that you're getting from the Target or Walgreens or Costco. Now, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily bad that you're receiving spam, but most of the time it's unwanted or unsolicited, or you're getting too much of it. Now, you can usually just unsubscribe from spam messages if you're getting them repeatedly, or like I mentioned earlier, your email provider is hopefully you have report as spam, report as junk, and then you can hopefully stop receiving those messages in the future because they can quite quickly fill up your inbox. Now, phishing are the most damaging. And in a previous slide, I showed you that one of the websites had been blocked and it actually said that it was a phishing attempt. Now, phishing is also unsolicited and unwanted, and they're usually emails or phone calls that trick you into sharing personal information. Now, I am going to have you listen to a couple of examples coming up here. And in the resources that we have available for you, I have even more links to more calls that I can't show during this webinar just because they're a little bit too long. But the ones I'm going to show you a couple of these today. The IRS robocalls are quite proficient. That there is, that you owe taxes or the IRS owes you money. Credit card robocalls, they're going to lower your interest rate. Those are constant. They've been going on for years. Now, the yes calls. One of the links in the resources that we have for you is actually a news story that was on the news about the yes calls. Now, what this is when you get a call and you get asked questions. Now, this might start as a robocall, which is that computer-generated voice. And then if you stay on the phone, a real person is going to come on the call and start to ask you questions. Now, what they want you to do is they want you to answer with a simple yes. If you answer with a simple yes, they can record that yes and then bill you for services or goods. And if you object to that, then they can say, well, you agreed to it on our phone call because you said yes. So if you get a robocall or a phone call and somebody starts asking you information about yourself, just don't use the simple answer yes. And I tell my students, if somebody says, is this Shannon? I say, yes, not yes. I say, my name is Shannon. Can you talk right now? I can talk right now. Answer the question with a longer sentence. Just don't say yes. Now, also Social Security. Those often start as robocalls. I am going to show you one of those. Have you listen to one in just a minute. Just hang up on them. Don't wait on the line. You don't want to talk to a real person because that's when they're going to start to ask you questions. Okay, let's start with the sample IRS call.
To inform you that IRS is filing lawsuit against you. To get more information about this case file, please call immediately on our department number 202-470-2565. I repeat 202-470-2565.
Okay, you can tell that was a computer-generated voice and it gave a phone number. Now, what they want you to do is they want you to call back that phone number and talk to a real person who is going to try and convince you that there is something going on with the Internal Revenue Service. Let's do another one.
Hey, have you gotten a call like this?
Hello, this is Linda. This is the final reminder from the Office of Inspector General of Social Security Administration. Your Social Security number has been suspended. We would request you to get back to us so that we can discuss about this case. Thanks you.
Social Security robocall scams tend to sound like this. If you get one, don't panic. It is not a legitimate call. Visit US.
All right, now this one is a credit card, an example of a credit card robocall. Now, the woman, I'm going to just play a short clip of this, but the woman's voice that you're going to hear sounds like a real person. It's really quite extraordinary.
Hello, this is Alice calling from the underwriting department regarding your Discover credit card account. Based on your recent payment activity and balance, you are eligible for an interest rate reduction to as low as 1.9%. To take advantage of this limited time offer, please call Card Member Services directly at 1-800-694-0048. Once again, that's 1-800-694-0048.
call to action. They wanted you to take action right away. Call that number back. Get that lower interest rate. All right, now this is the family emergency imposter scam. And this is when somebody is trying to impersonate a family member. And unfortunately, this is very, very, very advanced technology. Some of these calls actually sound like your family members, or they have an excuse why the voice might sound a little bit muffled. I have a cough, I have a cold, I'm in jail, I need help. Now, this is just an example of one.
Granddad, it's me. An accident in Mexico. I'm in jail.
Jimmy, is that you?
Yeah, it's Jimmy. I need money for bail right now.
In jail?
You need to send money right now. Please don't tell anyone.
Scammers are tricky and can pretend to be anybody in any situation. They seem like the real deal. They play on your fears. The goal? To get you to act fast. Check out if they really are who they say they are, even if they sound like a loved one. Heard from an imposter? Report it at ftc.gov/imposters.
Okay. I actually live in the city of Chicago, and the sister building to where I live, we got a message from our property manager that an older adult had been the victim of a rather terrible robocall that turned into a situation where she lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just by talking to somebody through the telephone who tricked her into providing information for them, saying that they were somebody that they were not. So this is just, it's very, very widespread. So let's talk a little bit then about understanding digital commerce, essential skill number 2. So more than 80 million consumers have lost money to scammers just in the last 5 years. And consumers lost more than $10 billion to fraud in 2023. Now, this is not just through phone calls. It's not just through talking to somebody on the other end of the phone. It is through money transfers. It's through Venmo. It's through Zelle. It's for paying for services that are never provided. It is rental scams. It's romance scams. If you can think of it, it's happening. And unfortunately, it is so widespread that it is really, really difficult to control. So this is a recent email. I know it's very, very difficult to see. It's very, very small, but this is one that's been around a long time. This is the I won millions of dollars and I want to share it with you scam. I received an email that said the Mega Million had officially announced that I was the winner of this random $32 million prize draw. But I know it's difficult to see here, but what it's actually asking me in the email is payment options. They want my bank name, my bank account number, my routing number, my bank address. So what they want is information to access my bank account so that they could supposedly transfer millions of dollars into my bank account. Now, this doesn't just have to be something as outrageous as the lottery scams. This could be I'm owed a scam where somebody says I'm owed money from Social Security, IRS, overpaying my credit card, I overpaid my tolls. Please, if there's one thing that I'm going to tell you right now, that please to remember, never, ever give personal information in an email. Never share Social Security, passwords, banking information. That information should never be in an email. It should never be in a text message. I could complete this form here and send this to the random Gmail email address of the person who sent this to me, and they could forward that to hundreds, if not thousands, of other people with all of my personal information in it. If you write an email and you're sending it to somebody, it's very difficult to guarantee that that person is not going to send that email on to somebody else or take a screenshot of a text message. and share it. So please, please do not ever put personal information in email communication or in a text message. And we'll talk about this a little bit more when we get into the security checklist. Here's another one I received years ago, another lottery, another lottery jackpot, donating to 5 random individuals, of which I was supposedly one of them. I show this one to my students frequently and evaluating it. Mrs. Mavis, random email address that sent me this message. Recipients, probably blind carbon copied hundreds, if not thousands of people saying, I'd like to give you money because I've won the lotto. And what they want me to do, they want me to reply. They want me to engage with the sender of this email. Don't, please don't. Now, I talked a little bit earlier in this webinar about how you can see what is hidden in an email address or on a hyperlink on a website by just hovering your mouse over the URL or the button. Now, what you see here on this screen is I received an email thanking me for paying for a travel insurance plan. Now, I knew the email was incorrect because they had addressed it to somebody named Brenda, and all of the links in the email looked legitimate. It was a legitimate insurance company. However, the websites and the email was not legitimate. Now, what you can do is, this was actually a screenshot of the message I received, and there was that button that said manage my policy. Now I hovered my mouse over that button that says manage my policy, and then look at the bottom of the slide and you'll see what was actually hidden inside that button. It wasn't for the insurance company's website. It was links.mkt1649 in a very long, very unusual URL that was hidden in there, impersonating the travel insurance company's website. So I didn't click on it. I marked it as spam. So when in doubt, please don't click. Just move that mouse over the link if you receive it in an email, or even over a link on a website, and it will show you at the bottom left of your internet browser what that URL is before you click on it. Okay, now as we're evaluating digital information, we're always going to be evaluating digital information. I show these examples frequently as an example of websites that are not legitimate. Now, the first one is Apple, and of course it is spelled incorrectly, but if you're reading it quickly and you just want to click on the link, you think it says Apple, but it's apple.com. Below that is PayPal. However, it's pay, P-A, with a 1 instead of an L. Netflixaccount.com instead of netflix.com. Nike and ChatGPT. So the websites, even the URLs might look correct, but take another look before you click on it, okay? Even if you need to Google the actual website to go to the actual website, apple.com, paypal.com, netflix.com, instead of clicking on the link that they are sending to you, which is, in the case of all of these, fraudulent. Now, I mentioned this earlier as well. If you are using Google Chrome as your internet browser, you can go into incognito mode. Now, you can do this by going to the top right of your browser window, and there are 3 little dots in the top of your browser window if you're using Google Chrome. When you click on those 3 little dots, you will probably see this little icon that looks like a little spy. When you click on that, it will open another window that will be in incognito mode. Now, this is especially useful if you are shopping on the internet, if you are filling out a form on the internet, you're applying for a job, you're logging into your bank account, you're going to the Social Security website, you are doing anything online where you are going to be providing private personal data. Incognito mode will help protect you as you are navigating through the internet. It is not going to save your browsing data, so nobody will be able to see the websites that you visited. It will not save the cookies and the site data. And most importantly, it's not going to save information that you are entering into forms as you're filling them out, which could be your credit card number, which could be your social security number, which could be any type of personal information that you're putting into a form. The internet browser is not going to be saving it. It is not going to autofill, okay? This is a great way to add just a little extra protection when you're using the internet. Now, another thing that you should look out for is the HTTPS for secure and the little lock in your address bar in whichever browser that you're using, whether you're using Chrome or you're using Safari or you're using Bing. That little lock will show you that the website is encrypted. So whatever information that you're going to be inputting into that website is encrypted. Now, when I'm shopping online, I usually use incognito mode, and I make sure that whatever website I am going to, I see the lock before I put in any information into that website, and that URL includes HTTPS for secure, especially if you're banking. Again, especially if you're doing anything with financial information or your personal information. Just another extra little layer of security. Now, one more thing that you can do, and then we're going to get into a security checklist. This is an image of a man in a coffee shop. Okay, now if you are on public Wi-Fi is not secure, so please be careful. If you do not have internet access at home and you are accessing a public Wi-Fi network at the airport, at a coffee shop, in a hotel lobby, it's not going to be as secure as a network that is in your place of employment or in your home. So please be careful if you are on public Wi-Fi. Usually you will get a warning when you connect to public Wi-Fi that the network is not secure. That is not the network that you want to be on when you are shopping. It is not the network you want to be on when you are putting in personal information to a website. It is a public network. So please try and be on a secure network if you are doing anything personal and private on the internet. Now, essential skill number 3, this is our last skill before we get to the security checklist. And this is about communication. When in doubt, you get the robocall from IRS, you get the robocall from Chase Bank, you get the robocall from your credit card company, from your utility company, and they are telling you that there is something wrong. They are telling you there's been unusual activity. They are telling you have to take action right away. You need to communicate, but you have to take that communication back. You need to contact customer service, okay? You cannot guarantee that the person who called you is the person that you should be speaking to, okay? Now, this has happened to me on multiple occasions. I will pick up the phone, usually because the phone number is a local area code, 847-312-773 up here in Northern Illinois. And I'll think, oh, maybe that's a local agency or somebody that it's an important call. So I pick up and it is somebody who's claiming to be, oh, we noticed activity on your credit card. We noticed that you're owed a refund, et cetera, et cetera. And it's usually a real person on the phone, not a robocall. Now, what I do is they're going to start asking me questions. I almost immediately say, you know what, this is not a good time for me. Can I have your phone number and your name and I'll call you back? Guess what they're going to do? They're not going to provide that to you. Okay, they're going to hang up on you or they're going to tell, we're going to try calling you back at another time. So if they say it's your bank or if it's your credit card, turn over your debit card, turn over your credit card, call the number on the back. Okay. Now, I also showed you a slide about Klarna with like the perfect job where you work just, 60 to 90 minutes a day and we're taking home $250 to $500 a day at Klarna. Klarna is a real business. So when in doubt, Google the business, contact them, communicate with them directly, call the 1-800 number that you see on the website, chat with a real representative, take that communication back from the person who's calling you or the person who's emailing you or the person who's texting you and contact the company that they say that they are. Now, when I did get that Klarna text message that wanted to offer me that job, they were recruiting me. I did Google Klarna This was their customer service page, and I called them and I said, I understand you'd like to offer me a job. And they said, we don't know what you're talking about. And I said, of course you don't, but I want you to know that this text message is going around. And if I got it, that means probably thousands of other people. So take that communication back, call them directly. Something else to remember, if it's on the internet, it isn't private. It's not private, okay? It's not private. Your social media is not private. The information you are putting into a website is not private. Putting in your cell phone number into a form is not private. Okay, so just be careful. If it's on the internet, it's not private. We cannot guarantee your safety. Just assume that nothing is private on the internet. Okay. Now, this is actually a message that I recently got from Amazon. Take that communication back. Amazon sent me this. Actually, this was posted on their website, and I got this in an email message that said that they had noticed an increase in fake emails about Amazon Prime membership. Now, I actually did not click on any of those links. I contacted Amazon directly. They had a way to contact them directly through Amazon.com, and they have a way to contact Amazon directly through the Amazon app. So I did that, and just to make sure that this was a legitimate email address, and it is. This is also on the Amazon website. Amazon, like a lot of other large companies, Amazon is one of the tech titans, one of the top 5. They have a lot of information on their websites about scams because it is happening all over the world. People who are impersonating employees, people who are creating fake websites that look so similar to Amazon, but are actually not Amazon. Now, in the resources that we have available for you, there's also some links on how you can report fraud. You can report it through a number of websites, and there is also a website where you can put your phone number. You can put your phone number on the website. So hopefully the robocalls will stop. However, my phone number has been on the Federal Trade Commission's website trying to prevent robocalls for about 20 years. It has reduced my robocalls, but it has not eliminated them completely. So now that we're getting to the end of the time, because I am going to leave some time for Q&A, let's talk about the safety checklist. Okay, keep your computer software up to date. When you get a notification that your computer software needs to be updated, your phone software needs to be updated, please update it. That usually includes updating the security features on your devices. Use strong passwords. Now, I was a librarian for 20 years. Probably the questions I got asked the most when I worked at a public desk was, where's the bathroom? And 2, can you help me recover my password? Do you know what most people's passwords are? 123456 or password 123456. Very easy to guess. Please use strong passwords, uppercase, lowercase, a combination of letters, numbers, and symbols. Examine all your email addresses and your website URLs. Hover that mouse over the links in the emails. Hover your mouse over links that you see on websites before you click. Don't click on anything if you don't know who sent it to you. Confirm all requests for electronic payments or transfer of funds. So if you get a request to transfer funds through a consumer app like is it Venmo or Zelle, please make sure that you are confirming who is sending it. If it is a friend, is it a family member, is it a small business, please confirm before you send or transfer funds, and be suspicious of all communication that requires immediate action. They are trying to scare you. Okay, they're going to scare you into action. You have to do this or the fees are going to increase. You have to do this or your account is going to be locked out. You have to do this or your license is going to be suspended. You have to do this or you're going to be charged with a felony. I have seen it all. Be suspicious of emails or any communication that requires immediate action. Always use a credit card for online purchases. There is an extra layer of security when you use your credit card, and never send money to someone you have met on the internet or someone who wants access to your accounts. Now, the website that I mentioned where you can put your phone number, hopefully to block robocalls, is through the Federal Communications Commission. It is called the Do Not Call list, and you can add your cell phone number to that list. It does help. However, all of the robocalls cannot be stopped. There are so many of them. Robocalls are actually illegal. However, they're still coming to you from all around the globe. Block the unknown callers on your phone. Do not answer unknown calls, and never call back an unknown number. Never call back an unknown number. Okay? Call numbers directly, numbers that you are aware of, numbers that you can confirm. If you don't know how to block calls on your cell phone, please contact your cell phone provider. They're very helpful. There's usually a package that you can add on, or maybe your cell phone provider provides it for free that will help to block those robocalls without having to do anything. They'll just start blocking them. Mark emails from unknown senders as spam or trash, depending on which email provider you're using. Unsubscribe from spam emails. Sometimes they're just annoying and you're just getting too many. Scroll to the bottom of the email and you're usually going to see a little unsubscribe link, but make sure you hover your mouse over it before you click on it, okay? And never download or open attachments if you don't know who sent the mail. So little safety checklist there. Now, a couple of other things before we go to the Q&A. The students in my class, we always sign up for these two things, a Google Voice number and a junk email. Okay, a Google Voice number is a free phone number that you can get through your Gmail account. Now, that Google Voice number will actually hide your real cell phone number. Your cell phone must be a US-based number. You can choose a Google Voice number and use that Google Voice number, connect the Google Voice number to your cell phone number, and then when people call your Google Voice number, it calls your cell phone. Now, I have a Google Voice number. I've had a Google Voice number for about 20 years, and I use it for filling out forms, airline tickets. I can text, I can call with it. I have voicemail on it, and it is free through my Gmail. And when you call that number, when you text that number, when you leave a voicemail at that Google Voice number, I still get it on my cell phone, but nobody knows my real cell phone number. Junk email, you should always have more than one email address. You should have your personal one, which is probably your name. You should always have a junky one, the one that you have to use when you fill out a form. If you want to sign up for something, that junk email, because your email address is going to be sold. And when it gets sold, it's going to be out there and you are going to start to get the spam, you are going to start to get the fake emails. You are going to they're just going to keep hitting you at it with it. So have a junk email that you use for everything except for your personal use. Okay, we're at questions, and I'm going to stop the share now if that's okay, and take any questions that you guys might have. Okay, that's like the best comment ever. Just think of all the lottery money we turned away, right? I could have gotten a little bit of the 32 million. Oh, Cindy. Yeah, Cindy got the recruitment one, and your resume is not on the internet. Mine wasn't either. Mine wasn't either. Yeah.
Shannon, we do have a question in the Q&A. It says from Melissa, is it safe to unsubscribe? I have read not to unsubscribe. Can you provide clarification? I think you did talk about this, but
Unsubscribe. Unsubscribe. It is safe to unsubscribe. Now, here's the thing. If you click the unsubscribe button and you get an automated message that you have unsubscribed, that's good. Okay. What you want to be cautious on is if you click unsubscribe and it takes you to a web page, or it starts to compose an email for you where it wants you to provide the email address and a password to unsubscribe. That's not legitimate. Hopefully, when you just click that unsubscribe, it will say you are now unsubscribed from all communications. That will be legitimate.
great advice. Thank you, Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
I went ahead and put the resources document in the chat for everyone. The Google Doc that Shannon provided with all the great resources from today. And the slides were also put in the chat as well. And then I'm also just going to put a quick plug the follow-up survey in the chat too, if you would like to go ahead and take it right now. It will be in that follow-up email tomorrow, but I know for me, I'm not going to take a follow-up survey unless it's directly following a webinar or a PD session. So I just go ahead and always do that. Any other questions for Shannon?
Oh, that's good to hear. That's good to read, Sarah. Yeah, unsubscribe. That's great. My husband's on that mission too. He had 40,000 emails in his inbox, and most of them was just having to unsubscribe to spam. We're good. I'm glad it's working.
Any other questions or comments or stories? I think we are all victim of getting those telemarketer calls. I know I am. I feel like I get like 800 spam calls a day. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Once your phone number has been compromised, your phone number's been compromised. Yeah, the Google Voice number really does help. I've had my cell phone number for 25 years, and having it on the do not call list and also using the Google Voice is why I'm not getting hundreds of them a day, I'm sure.
Awesome. Well, Shannon, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your expertise. I feel like this session was very beneficial, things we all need to be reminded of, and tips and tricks that we all need to be aware of as we're continuing in this digital age. Any last minute questions or anything from anyone? Feel free to raise your hand as well, and we can unmute you. If not, I'll go ahead and close us out. Shannon, thank you again. Sarah, thank you also as well for being on to help me moderate. And everyone have a great rest of your Wednesday.